Close the eyes, lengthen the spine. Breathe easy. Just try to find your deepest, easiest breath, which to me means relaxing in the front, letting the arms hang. Letting space in the middle of the back. And we'll chant one Om. To begin, let's inhale together. Om. Let the eyes open softly. All right, legs wide apart. Sit on a block, sit on a blanket, sit on whatever you need to. Flex the feet. Ideally, the kneecaps point straight up, the toes point straight up. Bring the hands to the sit bones or the flesh of the butt and pull that back and out. And in an ideal world, you are sitting up here with no effort. And the effort happens if you can't get the pelvis into a neutral position. So right where I am now is neutral. And the minute I go there, I'm out of that neutral. And that out of neutral is what we call a tucked pelvis or posterior pelvis. And we're looking to find this neutral pelvis that allows the legs to release. If you have that, come forward a little bit. And the thing you want to feel, you can use your head to monitor the body's ability to go forward. All right, so maybe you come forward onto your forearms. Let me show you what I mean. Sideways. Here, my pelvis is in neutral, so I'm like kind of pitched forward to begin with. And if I wasn't, my pelvis would be pulled backwards. And then when I go forward, my head leads the way, right? The head is going to have to go. It's a weird thing because the head has to go faster than everything else, and pelvis actually moves backwards as the head goes forward. And what we want to find is the sense of neutral pelvis, and everything moves in one solid piece. Now, depending upon where you are at in the length of your body, back body, especially hamstrings, you might have to round at the end, but you might be able to come all the way down through this idea of a flat back, which involves curves. Flat back is not a flat spine. All right. So everyone's different in that shape. Now when we bring the feet together for Tarasana, diamond pose, it's just going to be a different experience once you release the hamstrings, right? They're not extended. Bow forward here. See how that goes. Nice and easy. To me, the full pose is when you come down, you come forward and down, and your forehead nestles in the arches of the feet. And that diamond is about 12 to 16 inches. The heels are about 12 to 16 inches away from the pubic bone. This is Tarasana. Nice, come on up. Soles of the feet together. Baddha Konasana. I'm going to sit up really tall. And I don't use my hands to open my knees, but I'm trying to open my knees wider. I use my hands to press my feet together. I'm not a big fan of opening like a book. It's a pretty classic way of doing this. What we're trying to establish is a straight line from knee to heel to knee. And then again, you come forward as best you can without the pelvis rolling backwards and the head coming forward faster than the rest of the spine. And come on back up. All right, so now we're going to go back to legs wide apart and work on the space between the pelvis and the rib cage. I teach a lot of twisting in these classes, and I'm, as someone who's teaching people to walk, every step we take is a spinal twist. Me and Fanny have already gone for an hour-long walk this morning, and I started. If I hold on to the leash with one hand, it really limits my rotational ability. So I've been tying the leash onto my belt, and It frees up my arms and trunk for twisting. So every step is a spinal twist when we walk well. And trust me, most people are not getting twists at their spine. So lengthen up here, set your legs as best you can. If you're up on something, that's fine, and then turn around to the right leg. Just turn over the right leg. And lengthen up through the back of the neck as you turn over the right leg. So that twist, come on up and turn over to the left. See if you can feel a difference in your ability to rotate around the leg. So a lot of people do not have nearly enough rotation between the pelvis and the rib cage, whether it's tightness, QL tightness, psoas tightness, erector tightness, or poor posture, poor movement patterns. We want to develop strength and rotation in the low trunk. And it's not rotation in the low spine. The rotation is in the muscles of the trunk. So now you're going to turn over the right leg again and come further forward. And the dog's in the way, but you have the right hand to be alongside the right calf. And I use that right hand to pull the right waist back and keep turning. And then if you want, if the left hand has the length, bring the left hand to the outside of the right foot. And stay grounded in the left sit bone. Try to stay really strong in the left sit bone. And twist the trunk, turn the trunk. Maybe bow forward if you like. Again, thinking flat back. Come on up, turn around to the left. Same game. Now I have the freedom from my hands. Left hand alongside the left calf, palm can be flat, whatever works. And then if possible, you maybe bring that right hand to the outside of the left foot. You can use a belt here too. And then come to the right sit bone and feel what kind of work you can do to pull that left waist back and turn the right waist forward. And back up. Again, the lumbar spine, the spine between the pelvis and the rib cage, does not twist. There's not a lot of rotational movement in there. There's like 1 degree of rotation, but only in flexion, right? It's not a part of the spine that twists. The twist is coming from the thoracic and the cervical. The lumbar is weight bearing and weight transferring. So it's not designed to twist. So when I'm twisting here, twist comes from here up, but these muscles, which again I think are bound up in way too many people, inhibit that rotational ability. And let's go after one of those muscles right now. So bring your right arm onto the right thigh, but if you want to bring the right hand, or if you can, bring the right arm to the inside of the right leg. And what I like about the arm to the inside of the leg is that I can use the strength of that arm against the leg to stack the left shoulder. Not that I can't do it here, it just gives me a little more force, but it's also deeper. So try to stack your shoulders. I'm trying to open the chest as much as I can, not letting that shoulder fall forward and down. Maybe slide your hand a little further forward, so now my knee is in line, my elbow's in line with my knee. And then left arm up and over the ear, and I want to try to approximate. It starts straight, and then I'm going to curve over, because ultimately I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to look to get both hands to touch the foot. It's actually a little harder with this leg straight. We'll do it twice, actually. It's fine. So pull the rib cage away from the pelvis, but pull that pelvis down at the same time. Rotate the trunk open, keep stacking the shoulders. My palm, left palm is facing the floor. And come on up. So this muscle, it's called quadratus lumborum. It's a side bending muscle, which is what we're doing here. But it also needs length to be able to let the trunk do its thing. Left arm on the thigh or the inside. You can slip it forward. Open that right shoulder. Right arm up and over the ear. Try to feel the difference in the two arms and their freedom or lack thereof. Pull the rib cage away. Right? Just pull the rib cage up and over to the left. Open the trunk. Stay with the front body. And back up. Nice. Let's do Paravita Janu sirsasana, which is, let's do the forward bend too, and then we'll twist, okay? So this is a nice way to set up Janu sirsasana. With the legs wide apart like this, instead of from Dandasana where you bend the leg, right, we're gonna start with the legs wide, only because if you can do this and then bend your left leg in, might not get where my foot goes, right? But you are now creating the real shape for Janu sirsasana, because now when I turn over the leg, it's a pretty deep pose. It is both a hip opener, a twist, and a forward bend. Now, there's nothing wrong with it not being that deep, but if I come here and my knee is forward of my hip, it's no longer a hip opener or a twist. It's just a forward bend. Again, there's really nothing wrong with that as in and of itself, but when we take that knee wider than 90, right, here would be 90. When we take that knee wider than 90, we just introduce additional elements. Turn, you can use that right hand for help. You can bring the left hand to the outside of the foot. Bow forward, you can bring both hands to the foot. Ultimately, the full pose is you take the bent knee wrist, left wrist in the right hand, and I'm not really that warm this morning. There we go. The thing about taking the bent knee wrist for this pose, which is really nice, all right, so nice and easy, make your way out. When you take the bent knee wrist, it brings a certain balance to the two sides of the trunk as you go into the shape. It's just that not everyone can get that variation. All right. Let's come back to the twist on the second side. So we're going to do Janu sirsasana, second side. So we open the legs. Now you're going to bend the right leg in. And again, I'm facing forward. So that would be my forward bend if, let's say, I was in Dandasana and just pull the leg back. But moving from Upavishta, it forces me to turn over the left leg. And again, I get that hip opening, and I get that twist, and come forward, and you can have hands on one side, you can have left hand to the outside of the right foot, and then bent knee wrist. I cheated that quite a bit to get there, but that's fine. And you're bowing forward, looking for even length between the left and right side of the pelvis. That's what taking the wrist gives you a little bit. And nice and easy, come on up. Moving in and out of Upavishta Konasana, let's bend that left leg into Janu sirsasana again. All right, right arm, right leg face up, right arm face up on the right leg, or again to the inside. And now you should feel you have a lot more space for the opening because that left leg is bent. Left arm up and over the ear. I always try to stick my butt out to get deeper into my groins, closer to the front of the sit bones. And then the full pose would be to take both hands and get the head to the inside of the arm. Twist open, lengthen up, stay with the front body. And come on up. Switch. Legs out wide. Right leg bends in. So again, we're in that Janu sirsasana setup. Left elbow where it's going to go to the inside of the outside. Right arm up and over the ear. Lean forward. I always try to get to the front of the sit bones before then opening the trunk. And reach up and out. And back up. Take the legs wide apart. Sitting up tall again, we're looking for that, towards the top or the front of the sit bone. So we're sort of already pitched forward. And let's move to a variation on Upavishta Konasana. Bend the knees, take the big toes. Sit up tall. It's better to get rid of your, what you're sitting on. If you're sitting on something, stretch the legs wide out to the side and you're going to try to bring your legs up to balance, right? And you're basically, there's a lot of equal forces working here. The toes are pulling away, and the arms are holding onto the toes. Nice and easy, bend the legs and come down. So we're going to do some variations on this shape. Come on back up if you can. So when you think about Upavishkanasana, this is like the sitting up portion. I want you to pull your elbows back and out and try to pull your spine up in between your legs. So you're moving towards the front of the sit bones, you're pulling the shoulder blades on the back, and you're trying to sit up. It's like coming into the forward bend as if the legs are on the floor, pulling the spine towards the legs. Bend the knees and release. Stretch the legs out if you want. All right. Bend the knees, take the big toes. Stretch the legs wide out to the side. Sit up tall. And now, bring your legs together in a balance, bringing the feet to touch. I'm going to do that a few times because now this second time, I want you to make sure the big toes touch before the heels touch. For a lot of people, they're externally rotated. You got to get those inner thighs to come in and get the big toes to touch before the heels touch. Pull the legs out, and then one more time. Big toes in, big toes in, big toes in. Pull the legs out, bend the knees, and release. All right, let's just do one more. Sitting thing, compass pose. So stretch the right leg out, bring the right leg high up on the right shoulder, and the higher you can get that leg, you'll see the difference in the two sides. I can really get my left leg, I can get that left leg on the shoulder, which is going to make the rest of the pose much easier. Left hand on the floor, right hand comes across to the outside, across the top to the outside of the left foot. And then I'm going to straighten the left leg, compass pose. Looking up under the right arm, trying to get full extension through both sides of the spine, both sides of the trunk. And then bend that leg and release. Stretch that leg out. And bend the right leg in. So my right leg, my hip is tighter, my psoas is tighter. That leg is just not getting up on the shoulder. Is what it is. Left hand across the outside of the right foot. And then straighten that right leg, and I'm spiraling through that right leg, inner foot, pressing forward to activate the outer calf and the inner thigh and get that full extension through the spine. And release. All right, so that's it for today. That's it for today's sitting routine. I hope you enjoy it. Have a great day.